Hello everyone and welcome to our video lesson on how to draw our cutting board that we're going to build. When this lesson is finished, you should have a SketchUp drawing that looks just like everything that you see here. So let's get started. We're going to go up to, I just have a new tab here with the home page, and I'm going to focus my cursor. Let's hide this. Okay, so we're going to start by going where it says create new and go to fractional inches and give it a second and it'll load your home page. You have our lady over here that you can leave or click and delete, whichever you decide. We're going to leave her here for now, just to give you an idea on scale when you start drawing. So first thing I want you to do is save your work where it says untitled. Go ahead and click. Choose a folder in your drive. I'm just going to go to my folder that I want to save it to, and I'm going to name it Mr. Friedman Cutting Board. Okay. You can name it the same thing, but with your name here. Okay. Um, Make sure you put your name and not Mr. Friedman. And then I'm going to hit save. And you should see your file name on the top left corner here. So now we're going to get started, and I'm going to keep referencing this so that you have an idea of what we're drawing first. We are going to start with drawing these individual pieces first, and then we're going to copy paste them over here and copy paste them over here for our finished project. So we're going to start by drawing mahogany pieces, and those are going to be 3/4 of an inch thick, um, 2 7/8 wide, and 18 inches long. So let's get into it. We're going to do R for rectangle. We're going to click, drag, and click. And we're going to do 2 space 7/8. And you can see that down here, comma 18. Now we want to make sure when we hit enter that it's going the right way. So I'm going to hit enter. And of course it's going the wrong way. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to try this again. If this happens, just hit the control key on your keyboard. It'll toggle between those two. So click, drag, click, and I'm going to do 18, comma, 2 space 7/8. See that down here, and I'm going to hit enter. Now we have it going in the direction that I want. So we're going to zoom into that. And so we did rectangle. Now we're going to do a push and click, drag, click. And I'm going to do 3/4, enter. And so it's 3/4 thick. Okay. And now I'm going to hit the space bar to go to my arrow key. And I'm going to triple click, right click, make it a group. And then I'm going to color it in by coming over here to this key here. And I'm going to go to this color right here and color that in. Okay. And so now we have our mahogany drawn. Next, we're going to do our cherry. Our cherry is 3/4 by 2 1/4 by 18. So now we're going to do our rectangle tool. What you want to do to keep it all lined up is drag your cursor. Don't click it all. Just drag your cursor to the corner until it snaps to the corner there. And then if you bring your cursor out, you see how there's that little dot that stays on the green line. So we're going to click, drag, click. And this time we know to do 18 first. 18, comma, 2 space 1/4. 18 by 2 1/4. And then I hit enter. And now I'm going to hit the space bar. And I'm going to go to my push tool with the P command on the keyboard. click, drag, click. And you can also, if you don't want to do 3/4, you can type 0.75. That'll do the same thing as 3/4. Enter. Okay, so there is my cherry piece, and I'm going to triple click, make it a group. Okay, I'm going to move this just a little bit closer with my move key, M on the keyboard. I'm just going to move that down. You don't have to do this, I'm just moving it for now to make everything spaced out on the screen. Now I'm going to put the color in for the cherry, which is kind of this color here. I'm going to try and find that. And looks probably over here. No. So we're going to stay over here. Something like this for our cherry. Okay. And now we're going to move on to drawing the poplar pieces, which are 3/4 thick, 1.5 inches wide, 18 inches long. So I'm going to do my rectangle tool, snap to the corner. You don't click anything, just drag it to the corner. And then when you bring your tool out, it's going to lock onto the green axis. So I'm going to click, drag, click, 18, comma, 1.5. If you want to do it in decimal, that's the same as 1 space 1/2. And I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to press the P key for push. I'm going to push this, click, drag, click, and then type 0.75, enter, spacebar to get my arrow key, triple click, right click, make it a group. Okay, so that's my poplar. And now I'm going to put the color for poplar, which is this color here. We're going to try and find that. And color's looking a little different. So not finding details. Not finding that color. If you can't find that color, you can just do something something different, just so we know that it's a different piece. I'm going to go with this one here. Maybe not. I'm going to go that one. Okay. So that's our poplar. And then last but not least, we're going to make our piece of oak, which is 3/4 thick, 3/4 wide, 18 inches long. So one more time, rectangle tool, snap to your corner, slide your cursor down and keep that cursor on the green axis. Click, drag, click, 18, comma, 0.75, enter. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to get my push tool, click, drag, click, 0.75, enter. Okay. And now I'm going to group this. So I'm going to hit the space bar, triple click, right click, make it a group. And we're going to color this one in. We're going to go with this one here. Okay. So now we have all of our pieces made. So for the first section here, we're going to learn how to dimension and label them. And we're going to move them around as well. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is put some dimension lines on. Actually, no, we're going to move these over and copy them to do the second section here. We'll dimension them last. So, spacebar, I'm going to click outside of here. So what I want to do is move these out of the way right now. So I'm going to start with my cursor over here, and I'm going to click and hold and drag a box across so that I can select all of these. And now I'm going to press M for move, and I'm going to click a corner once, and I'm just going to drag it, zoom out a little bit, I'm going to drag it all the way over here and click again to keep it in place. Move my camera over. Okay. Now, what I want to do next is start copying some of these pieces over to here, to this area right here, so that I can make my exploded view. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. We are going to start by unclicking all of them. And what I want to do is just move this one piece over. So I'm going to press M. I'm going to click the corner once. And you can see when I start moving it, it's moving that one piece. But I want to copy it. So what you can do while you're in this mode is press Control once on your keyboard. And you should see a little plus sign go next to the arrows there. And you notice it made a duplicate of this piece. So I'm going to move it somewhere right around here, and I'm going to left click. Now we have a copy. Okay. Now, just to go back to our sample, okay, we have one mahogany, one cherry, one poplar, one red oak, and then it goes poplar, cherry, mahogany. So next we're going to do our cherry, then our poplar, then our red oak. So we're going to move again. I'm going to click this corner here, and it's moving that one, so I'm going to hit Control. And now what I want to do here is I want to line it up to this piece also. I want it to be lined up in the same spot as this. So as you're moving it over, you should see a red line. You want to keep it on the red axis, and we want it to snap to this corner. So if I move it near here, it's going to snap to the end point in group is what it's going to say. So once I have it snapped to there, I can drag it back over until it snaps to both. Right there, you can see both of the dotted lines are highlighted. Now I'm going to left click. Okay, so I have that moved over. And so now I want to move a piece of poplar over, the next smallest piece. So I'm going to pan over to here. I'm going to get my move tool, click, drag, and it's moving the same one. So I'm going to hit Control so that it duplicates it. So I'm going to move it down. I'm going to move it over here until it snaps, and then drag it until both of them snap, and click. Now I'm going to do the smallest piece, our piece of oak. Click, drag, hit Control, so it copies, snap, move it over till they both snap. Okay, and now I have both of them copied over. Now, what I want to do, since these are spaced out really far apart right now, I want to move them a little closer. So what I'm going to do first is just move them together. In fact, I'm going to move them all together like this. Okay. And just to make our lives easier, now we're going to do the reverse pattern, and we're going to put these all in place, and then we're going to space them apart again. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of poplar, and we're going to move that over, copy it with Control. It's going to go over here, and then we're going to take our cherry, move that over, Control to copy, move that over here. And last but not least, we're going to finish off with our piece of mahogany. Click, drag, Control to copy, and click it into place there. So now we've made the copy, and we have our cutting board, but this needs to be an exploded view. So what we want to do is move all of these and separate them again. And I want them to be 2 inches apart each. So here's how we're going to do that. We are going to, I'm going to hit the space bar to get back to my cursor and unselect anything that you had selected. And what I want to do is only highlight and select this piece, this, this, and this. What I can do is click out here and drag until the box only goes to right here, not over to here. Okay, so just those are highlighted right now. Now I'm going to hit M for move. I'm going to go to this corner here, and I'm going to click, drag so that you see the green axis. Okay, so click, drag, click, and then I'm going to type 2 and enter. Okay, so now they're 2 inches apart. Spacebar, click so that they're not all highlighted, and then I'm going to highlight just up until this one here. M for move, click, drag, click, 2 inches, enter, and we're going to repeat the process for all of them. So I'm going to click outside here, click, drag, click. Now that you see the pattern here, I'm going to move a little faster. And this is going to make it so they're all spaced out equally. Click, drag, click, 2 inches. And we just have a few more left to do. Click, drag, click, 2 inches. Last but not least, select just this one, and click, drag, click, 2 inches. So then we end up with all of the pieces equally spaced, like so. Okay? Now, what we want to do at this point is make our actual cutting board. If we go back over to here, we want to make our cutting board over here in this corner. So what we're going to do is copy these pieces over and then just put those back together. Okay, so we're going to highlight all of these pieces. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and reposition my camera, my view. Okay. And I'm going to hit M for move. And I want to find this corner right here. And I'm going to click. And as I drag, it's moving that object. So I want to copy them all. I'm going to hit Control. Now I have a copy of all of those. And I want to take this to the corner where the red, green, and blue axes meet. So I'm going to go to that corner and click it in place. Let me reposition my camera like so. Okay, so you should have that copied over to here, like that. And now we're going to put these back together. So it'll just be a matter of doing what we just did before, highlighting all of these, moving them back in place, kind of the reverse of what we just did. So highlight each one, use your move tool, and we're just putting the pieces back together. This is how we're going to glue them up, right in this order. Highlight, highlight each one, use your move key until everything is put back together. Okay. All right, so there is our finished cutting board. And now we're just going to tidy some of this up a little bit. So here's how we're going to do that. We are going to move these over just a little bit closer. So I'm going to highlight all of this. Whoops, I didn't want to highlight that. So come back over to here. Make sure I'm only capturing the pieces. And what I'm going to do is just move that a little bit closer, like that. And we're going to do the same for these. Move them a little bit closer, like that. Now everything's nice and neat. So last thing we're going to do is dimension and label everything. So we're going to start with our main cutting board. And the way we're going to do our dimensioning is over here on the left side where the tape measure is. If you click that and then you go to this icon here, that's for dimensions. And then you see the little tape measure appears. And what we're going to do is we're going to do our thickness out here. So the way you do that is click, let go, drag, click to the top. And then once you click the third time, I'm sorry, the second time. So click, drag, click. Sorry, let's start over. I'm going to hit escape. Undo that. Let's try this again. So click, drag, click, and then drag your cursor out either direction. We're going to go this way, so it shows 3/4. Okay, that's our thickness. Now we're going to do our width. Click, drag, click, drag it out, and we have 14 inches, which is what we want. And then click, drag, click. Whoops, hang on. Oh, do it that way. Click, drag, click, and then I'm going to bring it out like this. So I have 18 long, 14 wide, 3/4 thick. That's the overall size of the cutting board. We're going to leave our exploded view alone, and then we're going to pan over to each individual piece here, and we're going to dimension those. So I'm going to go back to my tape measure. I'm going to go to the dimension tool, get this out of here, and we're going to click, drag, click, and extend that out this way. That's our thickness. Click, drag, click, bring that out this way for our width, and then click, drag, click, and bring that out for our length. And I'm just going to quickly do the same thing for each one of these. What I'm going to do differently, I'm going to bring it out this way instead of this way because this looks a little crowded here. So I like them going in separate directions so it doesn't get confusing. Just drag, click, drag it out, click it again. Let's reposition our camera. Okay, back to our dimension tool. And we're just going to repeat the same exact process. Get every single piece dimensioned. And finish off with our oak piece. So we know what size every single thing is supposed to be. Alright, so now that that is done, we are last but not least going to label what each piece is and how many of them we need. So here's how we do that. Same area where the tape measure and dimensioning bars were, or icons. We're going to go to this one where it says text. Okay. And what you can do here is click once on the surface, and then you can drag kind of maybe somewhere out here where it's readable, and then click again, and then you have a text box there. So we're going to delete that. We're going to label this mahogany, and we are going to say how many pieces we need. 2 pieces. Enter. Not enter. Just click outside of it, and then it'll show up right there. We're going to go click, drag, click over to here. We're going to delete that and write cherry. And we need 2 pieces of cherry. Click outside of that. Click on surface here. Zoom in a little bit. Click, drag, click to here. We're going to say that poplar. And we need 2 pieces of poplar. And then last but not least, our oak out here. Click, drag, click. This is red oak, and we need one piece. Okay. All right, so now that we have everything labeled, you should have your drawing looking something just like this. Maybe the colors will be a little different if you have different colors on your um, SketchUp than what I had, but okay. Um, so what I want to see for your screenshot is you can do a screenshot like this with that shows all three of the drawings. Um, and then what I want to see, so this can be one screenshot. Make sure I can see your name of the file up on the top left-hand corner in your screenshot. Um, so this can be your first screenshot. The second one, I want it to be zoomed in on just this section here with all of the dimensions. So I can check and make sure you drew everything to the proper size. And then the third screenshot can be our final cutting board drawing that looks just like this, where I can see the final dimensions: 3/4 thick, 14 wide, 18 inches long. All right, so that is our cutting board. Um, and once this is finished being drawn, we are going to start building. All right, so thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.